everybody. Welcome back to another episode on the Simply Evolving podcast. I know it's been a long hiatus, but thank you guys so much for your patience. Today, I have a guest on the show. I met her at a pop-up shop that I'm currently having every month for the rest of the year. And this episode today is going to be called Faith Moves because the faith move that she made to make all this come back together and get you back into the recording process is so freaking I'm like, girl, I needed this because you made a move. I needed a move to make this work. So NIAIMANI. So tell my listeners about yourself, a quick little, glimpse about what made you even come to the pop-up and what brought you to the pop-up.
Okay. Hi, guys. Thank you again, Ebony, for inviting me to your podcast.
You're welcome.
So my name is NIAIMANI. I'm a singer from Detroit. And so what made me come to Ebony's podcast was I have a friend. His name is Brandon, and he was a photographer at your pop-up shop. And he just sent it to me. I think he posted it too. And I was like, okay, this seems dope. I'm going to just pop up, see what's up. And went in there with some dope vendors. I bought some earrings. I bought 2 pairs of earrings. They were so cute.
Mm-hmm.
Got some headshots and yeah, that's what just brought me there.
Mm-hmm. So I was telling her earlier today, I was like, the fact that becoming an entrepreneur can be so discouraging sometimes, and in this economy, stuff is really hard for people to even come out. So I was so proud of how that whole event happened. We had a couple things happening, but some things you just have to take it as it comes. And it's it can be so discouraging to stay focused on what you want to do, because she was telling me the process of her becoming a singer was sometimes you hit certain paths in your life where it's okay, I'm forced to decide what do I want to do. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so with the process of me becoming a singer, so I had COVID back in 2020, and it was scary because that's when nobody knew what was going to happen. So for me, I had already made the decision that I wanted to sing, but I hadn't taken it serious yet. So it was like that pinnacle moment of, okay, if I make it past this COVID stuff, I'm not finna sit here and let my life pass me by anymore. Like, if I want this, I'm going to go for it. So that's what I did.
Yeah. So did you get really sick, or were you just have mild symptoms or anything?
I couldn't taste nothing and I couldn't smell nothing. So I wasn't, that was weird. I wasn't super sick, but I had that, and I knew I had it because I had woke up in the middle of the night and I felt super weird, like super dizzy and weird. That was as bad as it got, but it was still just like, what the heck? I can't taste nothing. I can't smell nothing. It was weird.
Mm-hmm. I had COVID too, but I didn't get it till 2022. I got a average flu symptom, nothing too bad, but it's amazing how I relate to how you went through your whole process of dealing with the COVID, and it kind of just makes you sit down and think. Amongst we were in lockdown at that time too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So amongst that, how you would think sometimes being in either isolation or having some type of could be life-threatening situation happening, or for me it was a breakup that catapulted me into reinventing myself. Before, my old podcast was called The Goddess Cave, and it was flowing for a period of time, but sometimes maybe when it's not exactly what you want, or you just kind of pick up stuff to figure out who you are as a person. How old are you?
I'm 25.
Okay, so we're the same age. So around this time, we're picking up so many different things, trying to navigate okay, do I want to do this? I was in school at a period of time. I was going for pre-med to become a nurse, but then it's I don't really want to do that. I don't want to really help people in that way. So with my breakup, it kind of just made me sit down. Things weren't as accessible for me, and it's kind of what do you really want to do?
Right.
Sometimes when you're going through things like that, it's is this really what I want to do? Could I use this gift that I have? Have you been singing for a long time? Before then? Just
As I always knew I wanted to be a singer, but I never told nobody because I didn't want to hear, "Oh, that's not a real job. What do you really want to do?" So
Mm-hmm.
I sang to myself and like for my mom, but I never did it out for anybody
Really?
else.
Wow. And then to like see how like quickly you catapulted from not wanting to share your voice with other people to becoming an actor, like that is really out there. Like that's a big move to make. That is so crazy. Like you have to try to learn how to empower yourself, and it's like one thing can move you into the next thing. Like you were saying with the go ahead, tell them about that part.
Oh yeah, so I was telling Ebony that I got into acting because I was actually promoting a song that I already had put out, and I was posting some simple selfies and doing the hashtag like hashtag model whatever hashtag singer, and that just goes to show too that you have to promote and tag your stuff because it can lead you to, but
Right.
I'm tagging that, and the director for the movie that I'm in was looking up Detroit models, da 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 da, and I fit the image of who he was looking for from this role, and it just shot off from there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the music literally played right into me doing what I wanted to do, which is
That
act.
is amazing. I love that. Yeah,
Mhm.
'cause it's like when I had the old podcast, you would think like maybe like in a sense for you singing to yourself, like for me, it seemed like okay, it wasn't growing how I wanted to grow, but I was still practicing with it. And then for me to have that wisdom with that season of my life with that podcast name brought me to this place to where it's like, okay, before I wasn't even thinking about doing interviews like this on the pod. I wasn't really thinking about like I don't know, being seen physically, like that was like a fear of mine in a sense. Like it's amazing because it's like I'm such a talkative person. Some people may not think that, but like I used to, like somebody used to ask me like, okay, what do you want to do? Like, what's your whole thing with the podcast? And I was like, well, I like to be behind the scenes. I'm not really a person that's out there, but it's just like now I got this whole video, and it's just like it's so weird, but it prepared me to get comfortable with when that time comes, will you be ready to take it? You
Right.
know? Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that that's the other part of the faith move. It's like we could be doing all these things preparing for what we feel like is attainable for us, but we kind of scared on the whole, like, okay, I like you're putting yourself out there with these hashtags, like you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I know that that could be bringing what I want to me, but I'm not actually going out to like some people who will go out and go, okay, I'm going to put my name on that audition. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Or
Right.
I'm going to go to this event where I know that there are movie directors there. I'm just going to put it out there and see what comes. And then it's like, okay, when it comes, what are you going to do?
Exactly. Are you gonna be brave enough to just grasp it and be like, "I'm gonna do it"?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, like, do you think in the future, do you want to be more on the acting side or still singing? Or, like, what type of platforms do you see yourself on? Like Disney or, like, what do you think?
Like in the future, I definitely I feel like singing is like my core. I feel like I love music. I grew up around it. My family did it. So that's like I feel like something like in my heart. And then acting is like it's just like another piece of the puzzle that I think is fun and creative, and it allows me to, if I need to just not take a break from music, but allow for more space for me to grow in another way. I feel like acting gives that outlet. So I definitely want to do both. When I was younger, I wanted to be on Disney Channel, but now I feel like
Mm-hmm.
I might be a little too old.
Yeah, I get that. I get that for sure.
No,
So talk about. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I still want to do like both in the future.
Mm-hmm. So talk about. You have an ebook out. That's out, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So let's talk about navigating through that. How did that come about?
So that is so interesting. That's a good question because I feel like I don't even know how it came about. So when I was younger, I was really into reading, and I would read so much that I would start writing, and I kind of stopped when I hit high school, because that's when I'm like, okay, I want to hang out, I want to be the cool girl now, I want to whatever. So last year, I don't even think it was 2023, I feel like it was 2022, but I can't really remember. I just started writing this book because I had bought a book from a girl who's a model. She had an ebook out, and it was something to like about like how to like manifest money or something. And I read the book, um and I actually ended up getting a nice paying job that paid me a good amount of money. And
Mm-hmm.
anymore. But needless to say, I was like, that's a really good idea. And I don't know, it just really just came, like I just started writing, I think tapping more into what I always love to do. And I thought it was going to be a really harder process to get it out, but that was, me listening to doubts and to other people. And I'm just like, bro, it's an ebook, it's not that big of a deal, like it's your first book, like nothing has to be perfect, it doesn't have to be
Oh,
like,
girl.
this insanely
Yeah.
big thing. Like I could just put it out for what it is, proofread it, download it Grammarly. I'm like, I'm not gonna go try to find no editor and like all this crazy
Girl,
stuff.
you
No,
talking to a perfectionist and an overthinker, and I be trying to be like, okay, I'll get stuck. And that's my problem. I'll get stuck on like, okay, I know the faith move I have to make all this come, but it then is like all the work and the intricate details about, am I really ready to do that and commit to it is a scary part. Like, it's a lot.
it's
It's
a
a
lot.
lot.
It is, and it's like once you just tell yourself that all that extra stuff is noise, because you actually know that you can just put it and do whatever you need to do. Once you just have faith in that, it just opens up everything, I think.
Mm. Would you say that that was easier for you to make a move on than singing, getting out there, and acting?
I would say this was actually harder. I sat on this book for like a year just because,
Really?
I feel like when you think of books, I feel like I thought of like, oh, this it like prestigious author, like it has to be perfect. And what if I sound dumb? What if it doesn't sound right? And I'm also not the best with grammar.
Mm-hmm.
Like, then like my brain doesn't really work with like rules as far as like math rules, grammar rules, and stuff like that is like beyond
Yeah.
me. So
Mm-hmm.
I was a little insecure about that. But once I'm like, you know what? It's like now or never. I like if I just sit thinking that for my first book, God is gonna bring me an editor who gonna cost me $2,000 to read this
Girl,
10
'cause
page.
it ain't cheap. It's not cheap.
Exactly. I'm like, it's come on. Like, nah. This is just for me to even just step out on faith to see what I can do. So, but
Mm-hmm.
it was definitely harder because I feel like it just was more to think about. It wasn't something I was sure in my, like I feel like I trust in my voice even though I can be scared of it. And with acting it's more like, oh, I'm just trying it cuz I never done it, but read the book thing was like this is more like I just felt like it was like that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Would you say like having a circle, whether it's friends or family around you, can implement like stronger faith? Like, do you like have you experienced? I'm talking about business. Have you experienced like when you are doing something like you're navigating many different platforms of entrepreneurship, right? Whether in your
Yeah.
career and seeing, okay, I'm not limited to only one thing, but like as a person who is young and you have like an older generation, they're like, okay, you need to focus on this because this, if you work this long enough, then that will come, which is true. But like, have you experienced when is no one in your circle to like really push you and understand the faith moves that you need to make for your life? Like, have you seen that in your circle, like family or friends?
Yeah, I have. I feel like, well, for one, I want to make my family and friends, they are super supportive, but
Mm-hmm.
there are certain things that if it can sound outlandish to them, they may be like, "Hey, are you sure? Like this could be." And that was the reason why, honestly, before I dropped this book, I didn't tell anybody. Like the day before I released it, I sent it to my best friend so she could just proofread it, let me know if everything makes sense. Just because it can, because they wanna, they're probably thinking the same thing. Like, do do you need a publisher? Do you need this? Do you have it all together? Like, at first my mom was like, she thought that, she said something like, back when I used to write, I used to write a lot, so I did have, like, I probably had it flowed more when as a writer, but I was also like, this is just a simple like how to. So once I realized like not everybody's gonna have the same vision as me, so I just gotta go how I think it needs to go. I don't need to ask people, is this okay? Like that's when I
Mm-hmm.
had the epiphany of like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it regardless of what anybody says, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that makes me like tap into like your dreams and stuff like that, because like when I think about the dreams that I have, it's kind of like I've always seen myself on stage, but it just was never super clear about what it was. Like I can't sing. I can sing in the shower. I can sing in the shower. I feel like I can hear a little harmony, and I know I have an ear for music. Like I grew up listening to R&B records, all that with my mom and my dad. So it's like I have a real knack for. I can see myself maybe on the producer side one day, but it's just like it's hard when you still trying to make sense of how to put it all together. Cause
Yeah,
it's like, how do you I don't know. Like even with the pop up thing that I'm doing, like it's like that's for me to network to try to like see what other people who are on the entrepreneurial like type of mental space, like how can you bounce off of them your ideas and stuff like that. Like because going to college is cool. I didn't get my college degree yet, but it's like it's good. It definitely can serve you a purpose. But at the
yeah,
same time, like just from like working where I work, like I've seen people I work retail, so I've seen people go to college and they get their degree in business or whatever. But it's like it's so much more than life than working for a corporation. And I feel like sometimes in that programming of school, and I'm not knocking nobody who going to college or whatever, but it's just like I feel like we can lose ourselves in the things that we do to where we can't feel like we can navigate in certain areas. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I know I was still to the song. Let me pull it up real quick because my brain, y'all, I have a cold and my brain is just like all over the place. Everything I wanted, and it was the part in the song where you're talking about your dreams, and that kind of like really stuck with me. It's kind of like you can have whatever you want to have, and it's not limited to one thing.
yeah. I definitely believe that.
So can you go into that song for me? Because I was like, oh, this is so
But this is about to be so funny, but what song? What song?
cute. It was everything I wanted cover.
Oh, okay. Look, everything. Okay. So this is a cover by this song is actually by Billie Eilish. And this song just touched me because I feel like I had a dream. So like when people think of this song, it's like sometimes it's like, okay, everything I wanted is okay, how can I put this? It's kind of putting it like what people kind of see on the outside of everything you want and how it actually turns out, what it actually really does look like when you're trying to go for everything you want. And it's not as easy or beautiful or like fairy tale magic flick of the wand as you think it is. And
Mm-hmm.
I like it because I feel like it's still inspiring, but it still shows you like how real it can be, like how challenging it is to achieve the things that you want in life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So how was the process of like with? Because I'm new to editing and stuff like that. Did you have that? It looked like you kind of put in. your own visuals and then also someone recording. So like, how did that whole process go for you?
So that was dope. So my dad helped me record some of the shots where I wasn't holding it myself.
Mhm.
It was cool because I recorded the song and the video, and we edited the video all in one day and put it out because something,
Really?
yeah, some things just work like that. It don't happen. That was just, it was cool. I used CapCut to edit because it's such a simple editing software. Other than like a lot of these Adobe things can be very
Uh-huh.
hard to use and they're expensive. So
Yes.
I just uploaded them clips, used CapCut, and I'm like, shoot, I we can make this happen. That's
Hmm.
the whole. You don't gotta always go through all these super like exclusive networks to make things happen for you.
Absolutely. That's the part that I wanted you to get to because it's like, as you are as I am experiencing going into entrepreneurship, and like I said, I be wanting stuff to look so perfect. Because like when you have something in your head for so long and you sit on it, that's a bad thing about sitting on stuff for so long. Is that when you sit on it, it's kind of like you start to pick apart
What it
the
is.
great thing that you started, and it's like, okay, well, then you want to start getting, and it's okay to get people's advice about it, but sometimes I feel like something that you created versus like, okay, when I first started my podcast, I would just go, put it out, put it out, put it out, put it out. And it felt so much easier. But then as I grew and matured or whatever, and as I evolved, like I went through therapy and all that other stuff, I was like, okay, well, processing is a good thing. But
Yeah,
then as I learned processing, I feel like I'm losing that natural kind of flow. And
yeah,
it's like, I don't know. And that's the part where I guess, like I said, the whole college part and your own craft come together because you have to have a balance of both. But I just feel like sometimes it kind of messes up my creative flow. Like I don't know, I be getting stuck. It's like why can't I just be who I want to be, put out what I want to put out, and then like in this world where we have like all these different trends going on and people having certain movements or whatever, you have to be even more careful to not offend people because you can get canceled, and then that puts a stress on your creative flow. And it's okay if I do this, like okay, let's say you became an actor, you want to do Disney, like okay, then I'm stuck in this type of uh I
image.
image or whatever. It's like how do you navigate that? So it's kind of like I don't know. And that's why I'm trying to create community of women because I feel like nobody kind of really understands, especially when you're a black woman too. Because it's like you already have certain stereotypes on you. Like for me, people told me my whole life I talk super proper. And at the same time, like I know I have my little ebonics in there, and I say the word y'all and all this stuff. It's kind of like when I talk, I'm not pristine and proper on this podcast. Like I'm talking like a regular, regular person. And then when you go into certain atmospheres where you're trying to network, let's say if I'm just doing purely podcasting, you have so many different levels of podcasting now. Like you have people who are doing 6 and 6 5 angles, multiple cameras, and it's like, okay, well, with me, I got my one frame, the basic microphone, and things of that nature, and it's like I don't know where to go. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Yeah,
hard. I don't know. It's like a dream, but it's like I'm still trying to figure out how it's all like this could just be a foundation to something.
yeah,
Like your singing can just be a foundation to something, and then you may not even be doing that forever.
yeah.
But they're both really dear to your heart. So it's kind of like how do you find yourself keeping your authenticity when it comes to you creating and trying to see where you want to go in life?
Okay. Oh, that's deep. I I think that because I feel like I know who I am. I feel like I know who I am and I know who I want to be, and that all these things wrap up to me, and that people on the outside just get to see you and everything that you have. So at one point I think I used to think like that, but as I start getting in my mind that like I look at people like Kanye, and this man he started out with the producing, and then he became a rapper, and now he's one of the biggest fashion icons in the world with Yeezy and just everything that he does. So I'm like, if Kanye can do this, but still at the core of him be about his music, then I'm like, I can still do these things and tap into these other avenues and still be
Mm-hmm.
about my too. Because I'm like, you can definitely lose yourself by thinking you only have to be about one thing, like I think about our old artists like Michael Jackson's and Prince and people like that who only ever got to explore music because that's all that the world had the capacity for them at the time.
Girl, that's the word.
You know,
Capacity.
that's all that they had. So now it's like you can do everything, and stars don't even get as big as Michael Jackson and stuff like that no more. So it's like when you're grinding now, like what can I do that's still going to give me an outlet when maybe God is not aligning me to just be about music right now. He's like, you need to tap in here, you need to tap in over here, and I'm just listening to myself instead of like the doubts that I used to have now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I understand that. I get that. So, like, I'm trying to post another direction. I'm trying to get the words out right. Okay. So, when it comes to knowing yourself, like, I am still on this journey of figuring out myself and understand. I feel like I have a good understanding of understanding myself, right? But
Mm-hmm.
then when it comes to networking with other people, because just to be honest, in this world that we live in, who you work with does coincide with your brand, right?
Yeah.
So, how do you, as you are putting yourself out there making faith moves, how do you see yourself navigating and discerning? Okay, I know that this opportunity can open up a lot of doors. Then you have timing, right?
Yeah.
How do you try to decipher, is that the faith move for you to move to next?
That's a great question because I literally just had something like that come up. So I had another opportunity to play a really small role in a movie, which I don't mind. I'm still getting out there, but the role was so small, but it required so much of my time that it was taking away from just my piece of just coming home and letting me relax, taking away from if I want to practice, work on music, if I have to post on Instagram marketing. So I'm just like, this is a great opportunity, but is it a great enough opportunity for me to take away everything that I'm already focusing on? So that's how I had to decide and discern, like, is this a distraction? Is this God seeing, like, are you going to let another thing that may not be 100% for you take away what you've already been working and putting faith in and putting work into? So I had to decide. I mean, I didn't let it go, but I had to open myself up and be honest with them and say, hey, I want to do this. I can do this, but you have to be willing to let me not spend 2 or 3.5, 4 hours at a rehearsal every other day for a 3-minute part in a movie. Like I can't sacrifice all my time for that. And, if that person is okay with your boundaries, then I can be like, okay, I can still do it for you. If not, then it's like, thank you for the opportunity. And we'll just, hopefully we can work together again.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I like
So,
that. I like that a lot. Because that's what I'm finding myself too, having to figure out, like, because my first ministry is my podcast.
mhm,
So as I go across, I'm gonna bring this back in, but like as I go across the whole pop-up scene and meeting people and saying, okay, like, okay, perfect. I have somebody who's an entertainer. She's going to come and sing at the next pop-up. So you guys make sure you guys come out and support. But I see the fruit of putting myself in other areas of life, but at the same time, I'm learning how to balance out what I know I see myself doing in the long term, you know. But at the same time, like, I know that I want to become a therapist too. So getting back into school, along with me being a certified life coach, and it's kind of like it all works together and putting those pieces together. And I'm learning how to prioritize, okay, setting boundaries, okay, this is going to be my designated time. I'm going to answer emails and things of that nature, because I feel like if you don't, people have their own time. And it's like, okay, I appreciate you have given me an opportunity to network with me, come to this pop-up shop, but it's like they have their business. And you can't always be on their time, because you'll respond to an email and they'll respond to you 2 or 3 days later. And it's
It,
like, well, dang, I could have been focusing on, instead of stressing about, like, okay, this interrupted my piece, like you said, of trying to please you when I really want to. I know I have the capacity to even cooperate with you for this engagement, but like, if I've seen that God typically brings stuff to me when I'm not worried about it, you got to say, okay, well, I know God is going to bring me good opportunities.
mm,
So if I set those boundaries, say, okay, I have to set time to read my Bible in the morning instead of getting up, responding to emails. I have to
yeah,
set time at night to pray instead of going through my phone trying to get those last 10 emails and then turn into a whole hour. And so
yeah,
and then they don't even respond. They'll respond back like 2 minutes or whatever. And the next thing you know, it's like, okay, when we get ready to lock stuff in, it's like, oh, this could have waited to the next day. So just learning, like, you can be firm, even though you're in the building stage, no matter what place in life somebody can try to, like, put you in a category, or you're starting off as a podcaster, you're starting off as a singer, you're starting off as an actor. If you put those boundaries up in place now, they're going to respect you. And it's professional in the end, because you put your best craft out there when you have your boundaries and you're operating from the right place.
truly, truly. When people not running you dry, like,
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So, guys, I am so happy to have this podcast finally coming out. She will be performing at the pop up shop, so make sure you guys come out and support. You want to talk about that a little bit?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm so excited about this. Actually, I've never performed anywhere like this, but I think it's beautiful because it's just gonna be people like doing their thing, and
Mm-hmm.
it is a new environment. So I'm so excited. It's August, not August, July
Like,
20th. Yeah, and I'm gonna be singing there. I'm gonna be there for a couple hours, have some good music playing. It's just gonna be fun, good vibes, great vibes.
mm-hmm. So, how I end the podcast episodes from now on is I am evolving to, and I have evolved from.
Mm. Oh, okay. 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 I am evolving to peace and trust, and I am evolving from um I'm evolving from worry and fear.
I love it, because that is how you make a faith move. Period.
Period. Okay.
So, as a special thank you for coming to support at the pop up shop and supporting me in my podcast, I have a couple things for you.
Oh, I love gifts.
So, when I think about you and your aura and everything about the faith moves and all the great things and opportunities that are coming to you, it makes me think about my journal right here.
What?
So, at the pop-up shop, we'll be gonna take some pictures, do a quick little interview, a little small one, for the pod.
Yeah.
And I think about this because as you are growing and you're evolving from, you said, worry and things of that nature, I know that you have so many great opportunities coming to you, and those things can creep back up. And
Yes, they
as you grow in trust and all those other things, I know that it's very important to write your daily emotions down, make it plain. Always look forward to the next thing that's coming to you. So that is why we're going to give you a
thank you.
journal.
I am so excited.
Okay, number 2. When I think about your aura and everything that's coming to you, I think about this here.
Oh, is this a coloring book? What is
It's
this?
the activity book.
Oh, wow.
So in your time when you just need a break to just focus on yourself and remember that you always have your crown, no matter what hat you have on as a singer, as an actor, as an author, whatever it is, you always have your crown. So this is something to make time for yourself. Make
Okay.
sure that you make time for yourself. So this will come with a pencil pouch that has my custom pens in there and colored pencils. So as a thank you for supporting me and seeing fruit in my podcast and in the pop-up shop, like you just never know who you come across and how they can give you a word for the next season, and how you never know, girl, like with this conference time, we gonna need somebody to sing, lift, and empower. Because
Okay.
point blank and period. Okay. So I cannot wait to see you at the pop-up shop, and I will have a goodie bag for you with these items in it and something else for you, but I want that to be a surprise. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. Again, NIAIMANI, thank you so much for coming and participating, because I was like, sometimes God will see somebody to get stir you on up
Yes, he
and get
do.
you back on your feet. So thank you so much for coming and logging in. And I will be posting this very soon for you guys. So I will have her details down below. Tell us again about the things that you have coming up next.
Right. Thank you so much, Ebony. So what I have coming up next, we have a movie coming out. We have a premiere July 28th. Make sure y'all grab y'all tickets.
Where can they get those tickets at?
They'll be in my link. So on my Instagram is nia.imaniX. Yeah. And I also have a book out that's also in my bio too in my Instagram, and music just coming soon, okay?
Period. Okay, y'all. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will see you in the next episode. Remember, I'm a woman who's simply evolving, and you're evolving with me. See ya.
Bye.
Hey y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning into another episode on the Simply Evolving podcast. Your support does not go unseen or unheard. I want to hear from you. Go on Amazon and purchase one of the healing tools that I've created. I am so invested in you guys' development in all areas of life, with the activity book, the notebook, or the journal. Tag me on your social media platforms all over Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Tag the podcast, tag me, Evolving and Simply Evolving, and let me know how your journey is going and how these healing tools have helped you in your journey. Thank you guys so much. See you later.